I originally was gonna pour one out for 2020, but then that take went horribly, so I'm not even gonna do anything for you anymore, 2020. Y'all can go over here. I'm done doing shit for you. You suck. This is also not the kind of shirt I wanted to wear. I actually would much rather be in a dark sweatshirt, like a pullover hoodie, but I don't have one of those, or they're all dirty. So this is what we got. And yes, I am at least wearing my pajamas. Because why not be cozy? Hey guys, it's been a while. It's been a little too long. I did not mean to go this long without uploading. There's been a lot going on in my life, so I'm giving you guys a much overdue life update. I didn't want to say anything when I decided to just altogether stop posting on my social media, because at the time it wouldn't have been my place to even be like, hey, I'm having a rough time mental health wise, I'm gonna take a break. Because at the time it was June, and rightfully so, there were a lot of protests going on for the Black Lives Matter movement, and it would have been super ignorant for me as a young white woman who's never ever had to deal with that struggle, who's never had to experience the oppression and the systematic racism that's going on still to this day. I've never had to experience that because of my privilege. I'm a white girl. That's my privilege, is that the system was set up for me, but it wasn't set up for anyone else. It would have been very wrong and ignorant and selfish of me to try to bring attention to myself, being like, hey, I'm having a bad time mental health wise, I need to dip out for a minute. No, that would have been super wrong. And so I want to make it clear, if I haven't already done that before on this channel, which I don't think I've ever blatantly said it in a video, but I believe it is in my description box, that this channel and all of my platforms will always be a safe space for everyone, including people in the Black communities, any Indigenous or person of color, any LGBTQ plus person in the community, like in those communities, anybody that is a part of the disabled community, like, or just anybody on any walk of life. This will always be a safe space for you. It is part of the reason why I started my channel, was to create a safe space for everyone, because I know what it's like to not have a safe space and to not have an escape from the world. And so this channel and all of my platforms are safe spaces for my community, for my ever budding and growing community. So I just want to make that clear. This channel will never condone racism, homophobia, transphobia, anti-LGBTQ+, any hate or discrimination against anybody. This channel will never, ever condone that. Because to me, why? Why would you choose to hate somebody or be rude to somebody for something they can't control? That to me is just like straight up bullying, and we don't tolerate that shit here. This is an anti-being an asshole zone, so no assholes here. I wanted to say that, and I also wanted to mention that I am currently in the process of educating myself on these matters, on the history there, on what's going on in a day-to-day life for the Black community specifically, but also for the LGBTQ plus community. I've also really enjoyed Native American TikTok, because that's helped me learn so much about the Native American communities. I mean, I've been going through and trying to educate myself to the best of my ability, and I want to kind of give you guys a reminder, because personally, I haven't experienced, but I've seen other people send hate to creators about this. I just want to give you guys a reminder that educating yourself doesn't happen on camera. It doesn't need to happen on camera. It will be reflected in a person's actions and words if they have actually educated themselves and absorbed that knowledge, instead of just like, okay, I watched this, I got my golden ticket for the day, I don't need to do anything else. No, education is a process, and it will not happen on camera, but it will be reflected in a person's actions and words. And with that said, I will be leaving links and further resources down in the description boxes of my videos. Specifically this video, I'm going to go through and edit the description boxes in my previous videos, and I will keep adding these links to my future videos. These will be links for education, for charities that actually take the money and put it towards the better good of making this country more set up for people's success, basically. If you're set up for everyone's success, basically. It will also contain people of color, Black, Indigenous, other people of color, businesses that you can support. Specifically, there is a business in my town. This business is so cool. It's a bookstore, a cafe. They also encourage learning different languages. The whole thing is set up for learning about culture and learning about different communities. There is going to be a GoFundMe for this business, so the owner can buy her building so she can expand her business and really take that next step in building a better business. As of today, I don't know if it's been reached, but the last time I looked, they were really close to the goal. So I'm going to leave that down below with other resources for the Black communities and the LGBTQ plus communities and other Indigenous or people of color resources, businesses, charities, you name it. I will try to put it down below. I guess I want to start with the heavy before I go on to the light of this video. I debated whether or not how I wanted to do this video. I guess it will be better for me to get the heavy stuff off of my chest now, so then I can end this video on a more happier note, because I don't want anybody to ever leave my channel feeling negatively. And so with that said, I'm gonna put like this is your trigger warning that I'm going to be talking about death and losing a loved one and minor details about the process of dying, I guess. Not too many details, because we're not trying to have a flashback today. I might put a skip ahead on the screen. It just depends on how long this takes. If it takes up the majority of the video and there's only a little chunk at the end, then I might not. I don't know. But I don't ever want anybody to come to my channel and be triggered accidentally, because I know what that's like to get triggered without warning. And yeah, it's not fun. I mentioned very briefly in my last video at the end that I was going through a lot of family struggles. There was a lot going on in my inner family circle at the time, and I was intentionally very vague about it, because at the time I didn't know how many of my family members knew, and I also didn't want to exploit anybody's privacy. I didn't feel it would be right to exploit my family's privacy during these hard times, because there did not need to be any more chaos than there already was, basically. I did not want to speak anything into existence before it was over, and I mentioned I might be able to talk about it when it's over, and yeah, it's over. I'm not sure if I'm gonna cry in this video. I've struggled a lot talking about this without crying, so if I start crying, I'm sorry. I don't know where my emotions are today. Yesterday they were on autopilot and I shut down. Today I'm not sure where I am with them, so this might go interesting. To put it simply, this summer I lost my Nana. My Nana's health has always been a concern since I was a small child, but it became more of a concern around 2018. Almost ironically, 2018 was when I decided to start healing from not only my trauma, but also just take everything into consideration to heal and make my health much better. And it wasn't just a spur of the moment thing, but it actually had a lot to do with Nana. Nana has been in and out of the hospital since before Thanksgiving of 2017, and that was really hard for me. It put me in a really bad place. In 2018, she survived being in the ICU with a twisted colon after having surgery to fix a twisted colon. And so that I would say that 2018 was the hardest, because she was in the hospital for most of that year. Since 2018, Nana has been in and out of the hospital variously. There have been a lot of health concerns going on, and in December, around Christmas, Nana was in the hospital again for pneumonia, and it was not COVID. It was not COVID. It was pneumonia, and I did not know at the time. In December, I had a lot of other life issues going on that I have chose not to upload that vlog. I do have a lot of footage that I vlogged during that month, but I've chose not to upload it because it's too hard for me to watch. It's too hard for me to go back through and remember everything I was going through in December, both on and off the internet. That December was an extremely hard month, and I had no idea at the end of that month that Nana was in the hospital for pneumonia. In April, the first week of April, I got a text from my mom, and remember, this is quarantine. We didn't know anything about COVID at the time. In April, I found out that Nana wasn't going to make it, that because she had pneumonia and was struggling to recover from it, and because of this case of pneumonia, all of her other health issues just kind of came to a peak. And at the time, she had hospice workers in and out of her house all day, immediate family members in and out of her house all day. And at the time, my mom told me that it probably wouldn't be a good idea for me to come because we had no idea about coronavirus or how it spread or, any idea of what it could do to me. And so that was a pretty big moment for me to really take a step back and realize I really do have a disability here. This really could be life-threatening to me. And so I told my mom to tell Nana that I loved her. And I remember just being so anxious like every single day about it. I couldn't function. There's nothing more helpless feeling than finding out that somebody you love so much isn't going to live much longer, and being stuck in a mandatory lockdown because of a virus that could land you in the hospital too and put you in a same position. There's nothing more helpless feeling than that. To basically be like, you might not get to say goodbye. But then, so I kept updates with my mom frequently, and Nana started to get a little bit better. She started to be more attentive again and eat a little bit here and there. Attentive and having conversations, seeming more like herself. The bad days started to outweigh the good days until there weren't any good days anymore. And so I remember very vividly, mid-June, it was the Sunday after one of the worst health weeks I have had this entire year. That week had started off with the absolute worst period pain I have ever had in my life. And I already have really bad period cramps, but this was like on a whole nother level. And then it was followed by one of the worst arthritis flare-ups I've had this entire year, where both of my knees were so swollen and in so much pain that I absolutely could not function. Could not walk, couldn't get comfortable, just couldn't even think about anything but how much pain I was in. And then following all of that was bad mental health, because that's how that goes. But I remember very vividly that Sunday, I was on the couch. My mom had texted me and told me Nana's time was coming. Basically, it was I should probably come see Nana and say goodbye. And I remember the feeling, just the dread, just all of the emotions in the pit of my stomach. Best way that I could describe it, because really there aren't any words to describe that feeling except the feeling of as if you're a child again and you lost your mom in the grocery store and you're frantically trying to find her. You want to feel that safety again. You need that comfort again, but nothing can comfort you until you find your mom again. That's how that feels. I felt like a lost child running home after something bad happens to the safety of your parents, or I guess the safety that home is supposed to bring you. I put my entire life on hold and went home on Monday. Home being my parents' house. And I remember there's an intersection in my city where there's a main road and then there's the highway, and the road crosses over the highway so you can get to the bypass to go around the city. I didn't even make it to that intersection before I just started crying. And I remember being in the car like, oh no, I'm crying already. Like why am I crying already? I'm not even there yet. And I cried the entire hour-long drive to my parents' house. Like, I would be okay for a minute, and then another wave would hit me, and just the tears, the waterworks would flow. It's like the dam, the Hoover Dam just like crumbled apart and all the water's flowing out. Like, yeah. It was the ugly kind of crying where you're snotting and yeah, your face is a mess, your eyes are swollen and puffy. Like, it was one of those cries. And I remember feeling so scared. So scared. Like, you don't know what you're gonna go into. I've experienced death my entire life, but I have never, up until that point, I have never seen somebody on the brink of death. I've never had the opportunity to say goodbye when I was about to lose somebody. I had never been through something like this before, and I'm thankful that I had that car ride to get all of my tears out of my system so I could prepare myself to go into that. I mean, the second I walked into Nana's house, the entire atmosphere was heavy. If I did not have that moment, that time to get it out of my system, I would have crumbled. Oh geez, okay. We need more tea. Sorry. Yeah. Oh no, my face is getting numb. I'm thankful that there was a lot of family there that day, and that it wasn't just me and my mom. I'm thankful that we spent a lot of time there, and that I had the chance to be in the room by myself with Nana, so I could say goodbye. And we were there for a long time, and I actually ended up spending that night with my mom and my dad. And so one night ended up turning into 2 weeks because I figured out that being there and being that close made me feel more comfortable as you can be when you're going through that experience. I actually was able to help my parents out. I cooked and I cleaned for my family, which made me feel like I had a purpose being there. I saw something that I could do that would be productive and helpful, and so that was my role that I kind of assumed. I spent the entire week there. I went home one day. Well, actually one night. I went home on a Sunday so I could get more clothes because I had been rotating through the same clothes. I had done some laundry with my mom's laundry to clean all my clothes, and then I was rotating, and I was like, I'm getting sick of wearing the same thing over and over again. And so I came back the next Monday, and throughout that time that I was there during that week, the first day that I was there after I left, I had a pit in my stomach that things were going to be worse. Things did get worse. Nana started to go downhill more. And so I visited a couple of times during that week, and then the next week I think I visited every day. I don't remember actually. Kind of blocked some of that out of my memory. I remember the last time I got to see Nana, she was in so much pain, and I remember wanting nothing more than for her to not be in pain anymore. And she had also, during the week before that, she had also started reaching out with her hand and making a face like she was searching for somebody. And I remember wanting nothing more than for her to be able to find whoever it was she was looking for so they could take her to the other side and so she wouldn't be in pain anymore. I just wanted nothing more than for her to not be in pain anymore. because she didn't deserve to suffer like that. She didn't. And there wasn't much that we could do for her aside from what we were already doing for her. I just remember wanting nothing more than to make the room as comfortable for her as possible. Nana once taught me that, like, I call it like the ultimate coziness. I remember telling my family members to, if Nana got cold, to put her blanket in the dryer for like 15 minutes and then pull it back out, because she once did that for me. I used to have to spend the night with Nana, not because of her health, but because my parents both worked night shift when I was a teenager, and they didn't want me to be alone for that long, understandably so. And so she did that for me one time when I spent the night with her, so I wanted to make the room as cozy for her. I remember when I left that last day, I had been texting my brother. I had been keeping updates, when you're out of state, you need somebody to keep you updated. And I remember telling him that I would be genuinely surprised if Nana made it through the weekend. And the next day, my mom has had a back injury from her job, and so I had to take her to an appointment so she could have a small procedure so she could hopefully have less pain. Taking her there, and we both had a bad feeling the entire ride there. It was all the way in Indy, which is 2 hours away from my parents' house. Shortly after I had dropped my mom off for her appointment, because I didn't go in because it was at a hospital. I would be just like picking her up at the door anyway, because COVID. So I remember not even 15 minutes after my mom had been in that appointment, I got a call from my aunt, who was going to be starting her shift with Nana for the day. And yeah, what I already knew was going to happen that day had happened. Nana was no longer with us. She went peacefully when she had a moment to herself, where no one was in the room. And for 2 hours in the car, I cried like a baby. I had talked to my dad. He had called me, or I had called him. I don't remember. Somehow we talked to each other on the phone, and I remember him saying to wait until we got home to say anything to Mom, because, obviously that's not something to, say to a person who's coming off of sedation. And I know I'm terrible at keeping big things secrets, because I could tell my mom knew something was wrong instantly when she got into the car. When I pulled up to the little pickup area to help load my mom into the car, and I knew she could tell something was wrong instantly. I'm not sure if it was my puffy eyes or if it was my shaky voice, but she knew something was wrong, or how dissociated I was, because I was very heavily dissociating the entire car ride home. I remember she asked me multiple times if I was okay, and I'd have to like shake a little bit and be like, yeah, I'm okay, Mom, we're gonna be okay, we're almost there. I remember being counting down the milestones until we got home to my parents' house, because I wanted nothing more than that car ride to be over. But I was also really dreading that car ride to be over, because, how do you tell your mother that her mother is gone? And luckily, when she got inside, she was able to call my other aunt, her other sister, and talk to her and find out what happened. And I went upstairs to the room I was staying in, and I just kind of gave up on the rest of the day. And then the next day, my entire family got together, and we had a little gathering for my Nana. We got to say some of our final goodbyes, and then we went to her house at the lake and had a gathering with food and pie and wine. All the things Nana liked, we had. And I remember so many of my family members were talking at the funeral home, like, let's go somewhere and eat, because that's what Nana would have said when people were starting to get ready to leave. She'd be like, let's eat. So that's what we did. We ate and we had pie and we drank wine, all of the things Nana loved. And that was 4th of July weekend for me. That was the biggest thing that happened to me this summer. I don't think it's completely sank in with me yet. It's really weird for me. I haven't adjusted to it yet. This holiday is going to be really hard for me. I'm going to say that right up front, that this holiday is going to be one of the hardest ever for me, family-wise. I'm hoping everything else-wise, the holiday is going to be good, but family-wise, this holiday season is going to be rough, because I have never had a holiday without Nana. And I just want to say that now, that if I do get depressed this holiday, I might not be consistent with uploads, but like, what's new? But I'm gonna try my best to make the holiday as good as I can, like I try to every year, even though I haven't had a good holiday since I was like 15. I will say that I do have new trauma from the experience. I don't know if you can go into seeing somebody you love so much at the end of their life and not be traumatized. I don't know if that's even possible, but if I had to do that trauma all over again, if I could do that trauma all over again, I would. I would do it over and over and over again, and I would cherish those last moments with Nana over and over and over again. My Nana was one of the most influential people in my life. If somebody ever asked me for an example of what a strong, independent woman looks like, most definitely that would be my Nana. She is, if I think of somebody who is a fighter, who could fight through so many health issues where the odds don't look good, but she still survived it, that would be my Nana. She showed me what it means to have an independent spirit. That was my Nana. She's the person that showed me that if you want to go somewhere, you can go somewhere. Don't let anybody get in the way. Don't let anybody tell you what to do. If you want to do something, you're gonna do something. She was a stubborn person, and I learned how to be a stubborn person because of her. And here's what we're gonna do. Since I've been interrupted so much, I guess to leave this video on a good note, I want to reflect on some good things. Without my Nana, I would not have my love of tea that I do. I would not have my appreciation of nature, which is outside the window you guys can't see on camera right now. Without her, I would not have my appreciation of so many things in my life, of Moscato, of sweets, of nature, of birds, of tea, of all the little things in life that just make life so peaceful, so happy, so that make life worth it. I would not have any of that without my Nana to set that example for me. And to be honest, I don't have anything hopeful or uplifting to say, really. But I would like to thank my friends who have been there for me throughout this, and not only for being there for me, but for showing me that we can get the rest of 2020 together, the rest of our lives together for the end of 2020, because this year has sucked, but that doesn't mean that we have to let it get us down. I'd like to thank my friends for showing me that you can still make good change after something like this has happened. Like, I have a couple of friends that have gotten new jobs, that are in better places now because their old jobs were treating them terribly. I have a friend who's starting college again and working on furthering her education. I have a friend who has recently left an awful marriage and is learning to thrive on her own and be the best person that she can be. And I have a friend who I've spent so many nights staying up all night talking to about this crazy stuff that's been going on in my life, who has helped me through so many things that just had her baby this week. So I'd like to give a huge shout out to my friends and to you guys, to anybody watching this, that no matter what this year has thrown at us, we can still do our best to make this year all right, to get through this year and make good changes. Just because this year has been hard doesn't mean that we need to give up. Because I don't know about you, but I'm not gonna give up. I will never give up until the end of my days. So I'm gonna set an example for you guys, just like my Nana set for me. Don't give up, never give up, and always keep fighting. And that's it. That's the video. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. You know, do the thumbs up thing. If you're new here, do the subscribe thing. I make videos kind of like this sometimes. I make vlogs. I make other videos. But my general purpose here is to just create a beautiful life, one cup of coffee at a time. And I'll see you all in my next video. Yeah, this is take 3 of this video. I hope I don't have toothpaste in my mouth. I just brushed my teeth, so yeah, I can't even talk now. LGBTQ, including homophobia. With that said, there's a bug in here. Oh my goodness. Is this gonna turn into the last opening up video? Man, don't you even bug. Hello? People stop asking me about this bonfire. I have said too many times that I don't know. It depends on how tired I am. That's my salty chair aerobics for this video. I'd like to give a huge shout out to my friend Roxy. Don't you even right now. Oh, I have to pee so bad.